morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good
Good morning. Minimalism. Now, how many of you have ever heard this term minimalism? Raise of hands. Quite a few. So for those who have heard this term minimalism, be excited because you're going to learn more. For those who haven't heard this term or hearing for the first time, hold on to your seats because this is going to be an adventure ride. And you never know, by the time the session ends, you may want to become a minimalist or want to plan on how minimalism is. So with this, I open up today's session for Toastmasters Noida Plus meeting, wherein I'll be talking about this theme, which is minimalism. Now, minimalism, as a definition, it will be something like, say for example, you are feeling overwhelmed about things that you have to do in your life, but not able to contemplate or complete. Your calendar is jam-packed. At the same time, you feel like there is very limited physical space left for you to do things. And that is where minimalism comes into picture, and it tells you a way of life, how you can have more space in your life. Be it a physical space, or be it a space for something that you ever wanted to do in your life. So physical, at the same time, an emotional space that will be. Space which is needed to take bigger bets. Space which is needed to take bigger risks in life, and you're not able to take that. As we go through in the meeting today, we'll understand how to make this space and how minimalism as a concept can help you with this space. As a definition of minimalism, what's noted in the blogs, it says that minimalism is defined as a design or style in which simplest or fewest elements are used to create maximum effects. Now that's theoretical. So let me give you an example of what minimalism actually would be. Imagine you are planning your day, you just have to go out to office and you pull out your drawer, and in your drawer you see there are 7 watches lined up. So 2 are Timex, 2 are Titan, 1 is a fast track and 1 another one. And you're just deciding which one to pick while going to office. And during this decision you feel like, I've always craved for a Tissot watch. A watch that you like would cost 75,000 rupees. But looking at this collection of 7 watches, you're not happy. You in fact want to plan for a bigger 75,000 watch. With this, you pick up one of the watches and you tie it to your wrist, and all of a sudden, the thought that comes to your mind is, okay, I have this EMI for your house which is to be paid. So where will the Tissot watch come from? This EMI of say a lakh rupees EMI that's going in, you have purchased a plush bungalow in a very serene place which is under construction, so you can't move in, but you are paying the EMIs for the last 2 years because the house is under construction. It's a need, you still have a good house to live into, but you wanted that plush bungalow for which you are paying your loan and your EMIs. Now with this thought, you start your day and you get into your routine of what work it is to be done. So there is very limited time to think about how to reach that Rolex watch, or at the same time how to fulfill those EMIs, because we are just stuck into this routine of doing our work just so that we get the Rolex watch, we get the house. However, the insatiate desire for doing something more and bringing something more in life is not making you happy. Now that's the very immediate point. Whatever you are doing in life, it's not making you happy even if you get the Rolex watch. So for example, my brother-in-law, he purchased a Tissot watch, and I have these 7 watches with me. But then looking at who purchased this Tissot watch, I immediately felt this need that I should also have this Tissot watch. And it is not because that I'm in a race, but it's more because of the social status that I want to carry. So wherever we go in a function, if I wear a watch which is a Timex and it is low in price compared to what my relative is wearing, I would have this complex that probably I'm not doing good in life. This is where minimalism can help me or people who want to follow in life about what the real value is. And as I'll move in the session today, we'll try and understand what hint I am trying to give, or what minimalism as a lifestyle tries to give. We have some speakers today in the audience, as you would know when I'll introduce them, who are already following minimalism. And that's a beautiful concept. As you'll see them, as you'll appreciate them, you'll understand why they do that and whether it suits you to do that as well or not. So it's a choice that you can then eventually make. Minimalism, also in origination, it originated from the word in art. So it originated in an art form, wherein the artwork used to just feature simple lines. You've ever gone to something like M.F. Hussain or an art show, wherein you'll see a painting and you'll see that okay, what's there in a painting you're not able to relate. Minimalism actually started from there, wherein the artwork was just simple lines, but brought in some different colors, very aptly placed of where the colors and the lines are. That's where it originated. And this is in fact what led to the translation of why the word minimalism then went into a lifestyle. More recently, it has become a lifestyle representation where people try and let go of things which are not very useful, which don't serve a purpose. So something like when the example that I related of that Rolex watch, I got immediate happiness the day I bought that Rolex watch. Sorry, Dassault watch. Rolex would be too expensive to buy. The day I bought that Dassault watch, I got immediate happiness, and I wore that watch for 7 days back to back. In office, in a family event, and everywhere. And I was so happy that I was telling almost everyone that while looking like this, that I purchased this watch. And obviously they'll ask how much it cost me, and I'll tell the price. But they'll be in awe of how good I am doing financially. But at the same time, I realized after 7 days of doing this consistently, that Dassault watch now for the last 2 weeks is sitting in my almirah because I thought maybe it's too expensive, what if it gets damaged? And eventually the fun or the comfort that it gave me in the first 7 weeks has all of a sudden now vanished. I'm now looking for something more, something bigger than a Dassault watch, probably the Rolex watch that I am. That's where minimalism will come into picture and tell you whether that fun or that zeal that you wanted to occupy with that particular spend was a short-lived one, or did it actually give me the happiness or material happiness or even a happiness in my mind that I wanted to pursue. That's what minimalism will eventually speak about and tell you. It's the fundamental concept again becomes that whether whatever you own will add value to you or to your family. So that plush bungalow that I spoke about, that say 2 crore bungalow that people plan to buy, if it actually gives you happiness, if it actually gives you worth, that's the calibration that an individual gets to do by using the minimalist principles. That is it actually bringing a real value or worth, or is it more like just about to showcase somebody in society, which eventually, because of the big fat EMI that you will have to pay, would not serve the greater purpose that you want. That's about minimalism, of what principles it will teach. As we go on this session today, I'll try and sprinkle about these thoughts on minimalism throughout the speech and try and see how well you could probably learn from it, or how well you may want to discard it, to say that minimalism is not the way to live life. You have just one life, one time, so you should be a spendthrift and live it the way you want. So the choice is yours. And as you will understand in the principles highlighted for minimalism, you'll see what the benefits it can give, and at the same time, what are the drawbacks or possible drawbacks that you face. Talking about the meeting today. In any Toastmasters meeting, this entire session, and this is for the benefits more of guests, as members would know it, the entire session is split into 3 segments. The first segment is called the prepared speeches segments, wherein members who are members of the club would present a speech from a defined path and a project which they are undergoing, and then they present that speech and be evaluated. That's the first segment. So we have 3 speakers lined up today which will be presenting these prepared speeches. The second segment of the Toastmasters meeting is about a table topics. Now it's also called as impromptu. And why is it impromptu is because people do not know what topic they will be speaking about. So there will be a gentleman called as the table topics master who will come up on the stage, give you a chip, And from that trip, you will have to speak about on that topic for a 1 to 2 minutes. That will be the time. Good thing is that in this, a guest can also participate. A wonderful thing about this thing is all about that you get to practice your public speaking or communication skills right on the trot, because you get the speech topic then and there. You have to think on your feet and then talk about it. And that's the reason why it's also called as impromptu speech section. The third and the last segment of the speech would be the most beneficial one for everyone who has come up here. The reason why we are here is to learn, is to improve our skills. And how will the improvement in the speech or a skill happen is by evaluation. And that's the third segment. The third segment, you will see the speakers who have spoken about or whatever content of the meeting has been, even a table topics, people will be evaluated upon those skills. Members and guests will get to know about what are the good things and what are the things probably they can improve. That's the third segment of today's meeting. Are you all excited?
Yes.
About minimalism and about the speeches?
Yes.
So there are some 3 people who have put in some lot of effort to prepare their speeches today. And with this, I would rather want to start this session. But before that, let's talk about the evaluations. And for that, we have someone special in the room today who would be the general evaluator. Now, what a general evaluator is, I would let that person talk about it. However, importantly, this gentleman who is doing the general evaluation role today is nobody else than our club president, Toastmaster Mayank. And Toastmaster Mayank, as you all know, is an IT professional, has been working as a product manager dealing with cloud and AI technologies, artificial intelligence technologies. He loves to read and run, but that's a double R. And at the same time, play with his kid, not children. He's passionate about history and economics. Now that is something that probably we'll try and learn from him of what economics he can teach us. When I spoke to him on what his thoughts for minimalism are, he said that it is modern imperative as wasteful consumption is negatively affecting the world. So we are consuming too much without the need. And that is where he introduced the term which is called as mindful minimalism. So we'll hear more about minimalism and mindful minimalism as we go about the session. With this, let me welcome our general evaluator on the stage, Toastmaster Mayank.
I started acknowledging it's just a kid. Okay, fine.